Hello and welcome to Disruptive Discourse. The clip you're about to watch is taken from my weekly video series where I analyze stocks that Cathie Wood's Ark-Invest recently purchased. If you want to see the full video from which this clip was taken, then the link is in the description box below. And if you like this content and format, then feel free to watch similar clips on my YouTube channel. And of course, like, comment and subscribe. Longview acquisition, ticker symbol NYSE-LGVW, purchased on November 23rd for $6.3 million, and it is a SPAC, which is a special purpose acquisition company, also known as a blank check company. The chairman and CEO of the blank check company is Larry Robbins, and it's doing a reverse merger with Butterfly Network Inc. The founder and chairman of Butterfly Network Inc. is Dr. Jonathan Rothberg, and I'll talk a little bit more about him later. Once the merger takes effect, then the merged company will go by the ticker symbol of BFLY. Now let's talk about Butterfly Networks. There are very few times when an opportunity comes along and offers a compelling case to truly alter the way things are done. Sometimes those changes might be partial on a sliding scale, and sometimes they can be very clear. I can name a few of those instances when the impact was very clear, like the iPad and of course the iPhone, and we know now that both devices revolutionized the way we use mobile phones. And now I believe we've come across another one of those technological breakthroughs with such profound impact. That technology is point-of-care ultrasound handheld devices. The idea behind this is that it allows medical practitioners to carry out ultrasound investigations using a handheld device rather than the legacy room-sized equipments that exist beforehand. And whilst this new handheld device would not totally replace those legacy devices, what it does is to democratize the use of ultrasound at the point of care. So rather than having to send off for a scan and wait days for the results, or patients having to wait for an appointment to gain access to the device, you can immediately carry out a check and know what the issues are straight away. In my opinion, this is really incredible, and I've put together a compilation of clips that illustrate the power of this device. Now, before I play the clip, it is fair to say that there are other competing products on the market that offer a similar experience, like the Philips Lumify, which is arguably the biggest competitor to the Butterfly IQ. However, as I would explain later, the market is certainly big enough for two dominant forces, and it is arguable that the Butterfly is the more compelling of the two based on its ultrasound on-chip technology. Now let's take a quick look at the clip.
The IQ to get to the answer quicker. The Butterfly IQ just tells me what's there.
With the quick change of a setting, I can do obstetrics, I can do vascular, I can do abdominal, I can do cardiac.
I can't recall the last time I ordered a chest x-ray for pleural effusion because I can see it. Why do I need an x-ray for that?
I was able to send an echocardiogram in 2 clicks to a cardiologist, and suddenly he was on his way in.
It also allows you to guide a needle into a tissue plane to deliver a nerve block.
I was able to educate him, his athletic trainer, his parents, within 5 minutes of the injury, which is unheard of.
The Butterfly IQ has literally saved my life just in being a resource that I can use to diagnose my own pneumothorax.
There are hundreds of patients here who came out today to receive an ultrasound scan. Today, for the first time, a mother discovered that she's having twins. And that was something that if she had not come today, she may not have known. And that actually would have been dangerous for her.
Butterfly IQ makes people so they get really excited. Oh, it just plugs into the phone? No way.
It's supposed to look like this. And this says to me that that part of the lung is normal.
I've always been very interested in ultrasound, and I never thought I'd be using it on my own dad. My mom said no. He was really short of breath, and I had just gotten the Butterfly. Immediately, I'm like, his heart is under strain. Cardiologist said, look, this was a ticking time bomb.
I didn't know about the Butterfly instrument until the day he checked me, but I feel very lucky that it happened, the way it happened.
We're here to save their loved ones, to decrease morbidity, decrease mortality. What better way to do that than be able to look inside somebody's body and know what's going on? From my standpoint, it was a near miss, and the reason why it was a near miss and not a miss was because of the Butterfly.
I'm Joel Molinari, President of Butterfly. I'm going to give you a quick tour of Butterfly IQ to highlight our product's unique versatility as the world's first and only whole-body ultrasound system. In addition, I'll show you how Butterfly integrates with EMRs and PACSs to complete the clinical workflow and streamline post-exam documentation. I'll turn to our application. The first thing you'll notice is 20 different clinical presets are available, covering from shallow to deep applications. Traditionally, this would require 3 different transducers. Now you can do it all in one. From a vascular scan at 2 or 3 centimeters to a much deeper cardiac scan at 16 to 18, it's all covered with Butterfly. I'll start with the carotid scan. The carotid scan is a simple clinical application that allows us to look for plaque in the vessel, an early indicator of cardiovascular disease. You can see the carotid at the center of the screen, but I'll make it easier to visualize using color Doppler, an advanced imaging mode that highlights direction and speed of blood through the vessel. And you can see that on screen. I'll freeze the image. I can measure, capture, and ultimately submit this exam to the patient record. But before I do that, I'm going to show you a couple more examples. The next application I'll show you will be a volumetric bladder scan. Bladder volume is useful to determine whether catheterization should be performed on a patient, something that is often determined simply by time-based intervals alone. With volume-based ultrasound, we can determine whether catheterization should be performed and do it accurately and rapidly. I'll turn to my application. I'll select the bladder mode, and you'll see the shape of the beam has changed to a curvilinear form. In my options, I'll now select the volume calculator. And as I set the transducer down on my abdomen, you'll see the region of interest is now highlighted in blue. I'll click the Calculate button, and without further moving to the transducer, the volume of my bladder is calculated as 74 milliliters. In addition, we have a 3D rendering that is useful to check the quality of the scan. Now that I've completed my examinations, I can finish the clinical workflow documentation using Butterfly's rapid connectivity to EMR and PACSs. I can select my patient from my work list, and then I'll be able to select the appropriate worksheets that cover the examination, CPT codes, and metadata that I've now performed. I'll select my carotid exam. I perform color in B mode on the right side. And you can see I have a CPT code available, which, if appropriate, will be added to the exam record. I can now save this study and submit it either for review or finalize directly into the patient record. Butterfly has created the first complete solution to point-of-care imaging, combining our ultrasound-on-a-chip devices with mobile and cloud software to make them easy to use and deeply connected. We call this a virtuous cycle because our product gets better over time as the data flowing through the ecosystem is used to improve our AI models, which in turn are released as software updates.
Now let's take a look at the company's projected growth and addressable market size. According to Butterfly Networks, there are approximately 12 million doctors in the world and 28 million nurses and midwives who would find this type of product transformative to their work experiences, making it a total of 40 million potential market size. Now, of course, it would be unrealistic to think that they could get all of those, but Butterfly Networks are sensibly aiming for 8 million professionals as their potential addressable market. They plan to sell each unit for $2,000, and they also offer an annual subscription fee of $200 for their cloud-based services for storing the ultrasound images. Another unique selling point for the company is that they have developed machine learning algorithms which is utilizing all of the data stored in their cloud to help improve the software and therefore provide better quality imaging over time. They also have the capability of sending over-the-air updates on a monthly basis, so that once there's an improvement, all existing customers receive that improvement via over-the-air updates, just like how Tesla's software is improved with over-the-air updates. This is another incredible way of maximizing user experience, which is sure to drive up user adoption and user retention. Even if they were to capture an eighth of that market, being 1 million new customers, That is equivalent to $1 billion in sales revenue. Add to that a recurring revenue of $200 million a year for their annual subscriptions, and that could be a $1.2 billion potential future revenue. Now, in fact, based on their own model, they're projecting a revenue growth of $44 million in 2020 to $334 million in 2024, which amounts to a compound annual growth rate of 66% year over year. But this could actually be quite conservative. Nevertheless, the opportunity is great, and for that reason, I'll be looking to invest long term as I believe in the product. Another thing I like about the company is that they already have a pathway for making continuous improvements to their product line, and they're also expanding to wearable devices, which will open a larger market to more than just medical practitioners. And just as if all of that information I've just provided isn't enough, it is certainly a welcome bonus to know that the man behind the Ultrasound on chip technology is Jonathan Rothberg, the chairman, and he's also well known because he was awarded the National Medal of Technology and Innovation by President Barack Obama in 2016 for his pioneering invention and commercialization of the next generation DNA sequencing technologies, making access to genomic information easier, faster, and more cost effective. So he definitely is no stranger to innovation. This company is also backed by investments from Bill Gates, who invested as early as August 2018, and now of course Cathie Wood's Ark-Invest. So yes, I'm very impressed with the company, and I'll definitely be investing going forward.